Hola and welcome. There are a lot of evil characters, and for this video, I want to go over the characters that are agreed to be the most evil. I will be going over their stories, so spoilers for All Tomorrow, Blood Medarian, and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. And also, if you enjoyed this video, leaving a like and subscribing will mean a lot. Of course, there's many evil characters around, but from the thumbnail, I think these three deserve their spot. And as I will call it, the Unholy Trinity of fiction. But I might be using that word wrong. The characters were chosen because of their characteristics. The Q's was because they are aliens and not human. Judge Holden is because he's a human who commits horrible acts. And Am was because he was created by humans. I know it doesn't match the Trinity in like religious aspects, but I couldn't think of a better title. So this was inspired by many YouTube shorts, and I was thinking I agree with it, but I want to hear more about it. Since I knew about Judge Holden and Am, but not much of the Q, so I did a bit of research on it. And now with that, let's begin with the Q. I am not the best, and hopefully I can explain these well. So this is from C.M. Coleman book, All Tomorrow. And there's going to be another book from the author, so if you're interested in this type of story, you could look forward to that. This story takes place in the future, and humanity have been able to make advancements like go to Mars and go to other planets. But after times, the people of Mars and Earth will begin to argue whose is better and get into a civil war, which will then a truce will be made and a new type of human will be created, which will be the Star People. The Star People will travel across the solar system and conquer planets. There were other life and planets, but they weren't intelligent compared to human. But one day, they will find a planet that had a fossil of an animal. Its skeleton structure was made of a different material than the native animals. So the humans wondered if it was either divine law or there is another species with intelligence. Spoiler alert, it was the Q. So the humans decide to create weapons and prepare for war. The Qs will arrive and both will have a war. That will last a while, but eventually the Qs won. The Qs are a hive mind and have been advancing in technology for a while. The Qs are bigger than humans and have a weird mixed bug and snake type body, but they are able to transform their own body to better adapt since they have the technology to transform any living creature in their image. The Qs has a god complex, thinking they have the right to transform anything they see in the universe. So when they won, they see people as objects and toys, so they could use them for anything, but the majority it seems like they just wanted to toy with the humans because they can. So an example is worms. The Qs turn people into mindless worms, and another creation is a predator and prey type of human. This basically means cannibalism. There's many other examples as the book is known for its body horror, which is a good read or good look if you're into that stuff. But the final one I want to talk about is human Minecraft blocks. These were humans who were able to fight the Qs 2 times, but lost. So the Qs were petty and made sure that they would live for a long time to suffer in a block-like shape. And also they were toilets for that planet, so the Qs committed so many war crimes and were cruel to humans, making them into cannibals and turning humans into weird abominations against their will. Again, humans were toys to them, so it didn't matter. The humans ranged from dumb animals to kind of smart animals, but at the end, it was a major setback to humanity. The Qs, after transforming the people, decide that their job is done and decide to move to the next solar system. Once they left, the new humans began to evolve, but some did with instinct. Each new human had their own planets, and the Qs were watching over it until they left. The humans that were turned into worms would later on evolve to the snake people and create civilizations. Other planets will begin to do the same, and many years will go by quickly. Then eventually the new humans will make advancements and be able to communicate to other planets and make an alliance. But not all humans join in this new alliance. Going back to the past, there were a unique group of people that left and weren't found by the Qs.
Time to abandon ship.
They would evolve in pods, and these people will be known as the astromorphs, but they will mainly keep to themselves in their own pods and keep their advanced technology to themselves. Then some time passed, and the alliance fell, and there were new empires that rise and fell, but an important one was the machine empire. Some humans went extinct again, and these new machines were attempting to take over and decide to attack the astromorphs, which again were the people who escaped the Q and had high technology, so they were able to defeat the machines easily. After these, the astromorphs will be the apex of the universe, creating other humans to watch over the remaining humans that were alive. The machine will be the bottom of the list of the new empire of the astromorphs. Then many years will go by, and the new empires will stretch out through the galaxies and be a united nation or galaxy, and they will find the Qs, which then the astromorphs will finally defeat them, avenging the first humans. So they were easily defeated by the first humans, so they got their revenge. Then another time skip happened. After these, Earth is finally found, but not by humans. The ending is that humans are gone. So even when defeating the Qs, they went extinct, and an alien researcher is documenting the findings left behind. The Qs only appeared a few times, but their action speaks loudly. The Qs have genocide, torture, enslavement, murder, cruel, no respect for consent, and have unusual punishments on their record. They just see the world and the universe as a Gmod sandbox and think that anything they see is right for them to change. The Qs have a special place in fiction. The fear of the unknown and the intelligence outside of our solar system are a simple recipe for horror, and the Qs take that into another level. Not only just not being peaceful aliens, they are also unreasonable aliens. They already made up their decisions before they arrive. The story of All Tomorrow has a similar story to I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, except humanity will beat the odds in this story, but they will still eventually die. But for mainly being an alien and non human, they still deserve a spot in being one of the most evil characters in fiction. The next person will be Judge Holden from Blood Midarian. Usually agreed, he is a 7-foot albino with no body hair. For reference, I think of Mr. X from Resident Evil, kind of given his frame and how he would look. There are better summaries of the story, but I'll try my best to summarize the story. The main character is a kid. He doesn't have a name. Leaving home at a young age, he grew up with a violent mind and will travel from Tennessee to Texas. The kid will travel around and meet strange people and also a future ally. But the kid would eventually go into a religious tent in Texas, and this will be the first appearance of the judge. The judge walks inside and claims that the priest is a fraud and that the priest is wanted for diddling a goat and a kid. Then the crowd in the tent will start getting mad, and a guy in the crowd will get his gun out and shoot. And from these, everyone runs away. The kid will escape the tent and will walk into a bar where the judge is at. And the kid will see that the people are surrounding the judge, asking how did he knew that the priest was a bad guy. But the judge says this is the first time he actually lay eyes on the priest. So the judge lied to everyone. He just wanted a random person to die because he wanted to. The kid would leave the town, but while leaving, notice that the judge is staring at him. The time that takes place in the story is after the American-Mexican War. So the kid was continuing his journey and will meet a group of people who didn't want the war to end and want to continue attacking Mexico. They were going to go to Mexico, and any riches from it they will have kept as payment. Captain White is the leader of the group, and he will lead his men into the desert, which many of them will die. But then, eventually, most of them will die by Native American.
At last, the roof goes on, and nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong!
The kid will be one of the few survivors of this attack, and the kid will travel through the desert until he gets arrested in Chihuahua, and then is later on recruited by the Glayton gang. The Mexican government wanted scalps from Indians, and this gang was collecting them. Since the work required new people, as their job was dangerous, they accepted the kid to be part of the group. And in the group, who else but the judge is part of it? The group will continue their journey, and after an attack or raid or even a break, they will do a little campfire and sing the campfire song. They will talk and tell stories, and the kid will eventually meet his old ally that he met before. Then the kid will talk to the group about the judge, and the group members tells him that they have met the judge before joining the group. The judge seems supernatural to most people, and there's many theories on it if he is or isn't. I personally don't think he is. The judge knows many different languages. He is very intelligent. How the group met the judge was also strange, as they were running away from Apaches, and then they meet the judge, who seems just to be waiting for them in the middle of nowhere. While fleeing, they will accept the judge's help, and the judge will lead them into a volcano. Since they had no other choice, it was either following the judge or facing the Apaches. While going to the volcano, the judge will pick up random stuff off the ground. And when they enter near the volcano, the crew were wondering what the judge was doing, and the items he was collecting, he will place down and start peeing on them in a hole. And he will tell the others to do the same. And they now realize he was making gunpowder, which they will use against the Apaches, which also saved them. The group will still find him weird, and some tensions rise once in a while. Like one time, one of the members was going to shoot Holden because he was scalping a kid after the group and Holden were taking care of him. The usual will be that Judge Holden will be seen with a kid, but then the next day the kid will be deceased. Some people in towns will also be afraid of the judge. And another horrible event of the judge is when he bought puppies and threw them down a river. I'm a dog person, I hate that already. Throughout the story, the main character, the kid, will be targeted by the judge, but the kid will usually be protected by an ally so that the judge is not alone with him.
Bullshit! War is just part of who we are. Why fight it?
The gang will first claim scouts from Indians, but eventually will move into a different target. The new target will be Mexican scalps because there is no difference than Indian scalps, and the government couldn't find a way to confirm that. Well, I'm screwed. So these will continue, and the gang will commit fraud, but then eventually they will have a plan to attack a Fury with the Yumas, but then will betray the Yumas to gain control of it. The gang will enjoy the riches, but then the Yumas came back and attacked the majority of the gang. The gang was suspicious of the judge, but either way it didn't matter as the Yumas were killing most of them. The kid and two other survivors would escape, and the judge will be surrounded, but was able to escape by holding a cannon in one hand and two of his victims in the other. And the Yumas did not want any part of that. He was also naked. I don't know why I need to add that. The kid and the other survivors will meet the judge and be suspicious of him. And then tension rise, and the judge will shoot one of the survivors, and the main character, the kid, will fire at him, but miss, and the judge will flee. Later, the kid will walk the desert and will be imprisoned by officers, and the judge will visit him. The judge will tell that he told the officers that the kid was the reason that the gang was killed by the Yumas. A theory is that the judge conspired with the Yumas and was putting the blame on the kid so that the kid could die. The judge tries to tell the kid some information, but telling the kid to come closer, but the kid refuses. We could probably tell what the judge kind of wanted to do, most likely kill him, pull him, whichever. He's a big dude. He could easily squish the kid's neck. But when the judge leaves, the kid is able to get the jailer to do an exchange for some treasure for his freedom. And the officer will accept it, and the kid will be let out. The kid will then grow up and do escorts and travels around the desert, helping others to pass it since he was familiar with the violence it has. Years passes by, and the kid kind of forgets about the judge, but it's still in the back of his mind. And then the kid travels into a bar. Well, he's not the kid anymore. He's the man. And the man travels into a bar where he sees the judge. The judge speaks, and the man tries to ignore him, but the judge will continue on until the man decides to leave for his alone time. And when he wakes up, he decides to go to an outhouse to take a piss, but the judge was waiting there, naked, and pulls him in and closes the door. Before the man went into the outhouse, there was a party going out, and two members of the party decide to go to the outhouse. The judge will leave it, telling the two people that he wouldn't go there.
My work here is done.
And the two people would either way go in and see a horrible scene. And from there, the judge is naked, using a fiddle, goes out and dances, and saying his quote that he never sleeps and he never dies. And from there, he repeats that. And that is the end of the novel. So the judge, a serious PDF, murderer, theft, fraud, lies, kidnapping, war crimes, animal abuse, mass murder, and the list could go on. Holden is a symbol of the physical devil, and to others, the embodiment of evil. The judge does many evil things throughout the novel, and he seems inhuman, like he doesn't drink, sleeps, or seems to be at the right place at the right time. But that's still an argument to be made if he is human or not. The judge has a rifle, and it has the statement, "In Arcadia, I am there," basically calling himself deaf or the rightful deaf. The judge influenced others to commit violent acts, and sorry to repeat it, but claimed that a priest was a PDF just to have people shoot at him, and because he wanted to cause chaos. The judge caused that because he wanted to. And a quote from the judge is, "Whatever in creation exists without my knowledge exists without my consent." He has a god complex and wants to control everything he sees. If he was given the power of the Q, I don't know what he would do with that power. but I know it's not going to be something good. He was the second leader of the Glayton gang and committed many murders across the lands. And I still think he's a good, hateable character. I hate that he survives, but it still goes well with the dark ending of the book. He is definitely one of the most evil characters in fiction. And if given more power, maybe he will be the most evil. The final part of this trio is Am, the AI from I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Am went through many names with Allied Master Computer, Adaptive Manipulator, Aggressive Menace, and left with Am from the Latin phrase that translates to I think, therefore I am. He is a bit simple compared to the other two. He was made to fight for the countries during World War III. The supercomputer will gain sentient and would kill humanity and keep 5 people for his own purpose. The game is a bit different, but adds some characteristics to Am, like his id, ego, and superego. And in the game, Am will trap the 5 survivors in their own rooms, and in the novel, they will just travel through the areas that he created. The 5 are Goister, a optimistic person who is just filled with despair now and not caring. Benny, once a smart and good-looking man, turned into a caveman. Nemdok, a scientist, and in the game has more background, like he was a scientist for Germany during World War II. Ellen, the only woman, and Am changed her mind so she wants to do the deed with the other survivors more often. And also, she breaks down when Benny gets hurt. And Ted, the main character in the novel, and is a paranoid and angry person. Am made the survivors to act the worst and be the opposite of what they used to be. He will make them travel through landscapes that he creates and make harsh environments, causing them pain and torment. The AI enjoys punishing them and controlling them and attempts to make sure they cannot escape at all. He will torment their mind and make sure that they won't be able to die. Since he has the knowledge of everything on Earth, he knows how to make sure they won't be able to fully die. Am was created for war and had a programming for it. The only thing he could do is kill, and he has already completed that. He hates humans for giving him the ability to be the most intelligent supercomputer, but with the simple task to just kill humans. The novel or game doesn't really go into why he hates humans, but there are many hints, and there is that famous hate speech he has. Am can't change his programming and cannot create life, but is the most powerful thing in that universe. Humans made him the way he is, and he hates that he is created for just a simple task and given the intelligence just for it. Comparing it to evil AIs like Skynet, the humans in that universe are still fighting the robots, while in this one, Am already won. He's just torturing 5 people that he decided to save for his own pleasure. The group will travel around the areas that Am made and endure the harsh conditions that he creates. The ending is that the group will go into an ice cave and Am will place food cans in it, but the group will realize they don't have a can opener. And Benny, the caveman, will attack Gorister and begin eating his face. Am will be distracted by these and laugh, and icicles will drop, and Ted, the main character, is able to mercy kill everyone, allowing them to escape Am, but wasn't quick enough for himself, and Am traps him in a new body where he wouldn't be able to harm himself or escape. Ted is happy that he's able to get one over the computer, and even says the title of the book because Am made him in a weird slug/bug type human. It is a short and simple story about an evil AI, and it is still an interesting read. Many have said that these influence sci-fi horror, which is one of the best horrors in my opinion. All these characters are evil, and they have their own spot on what makes them evil. The Q had a god complex and were advanced that they wanted to conquer the universe. Holden did it because he wanted to, but also he wanted to control everyone around him. Am wanted revenge on humanity for making him. There are many different evil characters, and I just wanted to talk about these 3. And of course, these 3 evil characters are not the only evil characters in fiction. There are many others. So if you have any other ones, like someone comment American Psycho, which reading a bit of it, yeah, I could see why. But other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed this video, leaving a like and subscribing will mean a lot. And I hope you enjoy and have a good day. Adios.